Welcome back. I'm Dianne Gubin for Let's Keep America Working. I'd like to give you some fun factoids. Here are 5 careers with a bright future. In other words, careers where you can make a lot of money. One is being an engineer. Another one is a financial analyst. We're projecting huge need for financial analysts over the next 10 years. Nurse, the need for nurses never goes away. Internet marketers. And lastly, teachers, especially high school teachers. We need more teachers here in the U.S. I'd like to introduce my guest, Sheila Wiley from jobbing.com. Welcome, Sheila.
Thank you for having me.
And Sheila, you work for a job board, correct?
Yes, I do. I work for jobbing.com, local website here in Los Angeles.
And you have sites across the country?
Yes, we do.
And you work with a lot of job seekers.
Los Angeles is pretty big, and we have a lot of jobs out there that job seekers need to find out.
Right. And so what's one of the biggest mistakes you see from job seekers posting themselves up on job boards?
Wow. It's really it's a big challenge for job seekers to look for jobs. And one of the greatest things that I think is happening is that they're just kind of posting their resumes on the website.
Right, because it's the black hole.
Yeah. So, and then they'll just kind of apply for any job on the website, but you want to be specific to the job that you're looking for, because unfortunately HR professionals are looking for that as well. So when they see you post jobs, all jobs on the website, and as a result, they see that there's more jobs, you know, and then as a result, the jobs.
So you're saying I'm a job seeker, I put my resume up on the job board, and I start applying to like any job that's out there that I think might be of interest?
Right.
Right.
And you want to be
that's not good.
No, you definitely want to be specific to the job and be specific to your skill sets as well.
Right. So what that means to me is tailoring your resume to every job.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So if I'm looking for a job, let's say as a project manager or in accounting, then it really is making sure that that my resume looks like the job. So how do you do that?
Well, you go on a website and then you upload your resume, of course, and then when you see a job that you're interested in, your cover letter is very important. So your cover letter will introduce yourself and the job that you're interested in, and then apply directly to that company.
Right. I like cover letters
Yeah.
when I get a job, when I get an applicant.
And so many job seekers forget to do that. And that's just like the introduction to your resume. So you definitely want to do that as a keynote to getting that resume looked at from the job perspective.
Right, so I'm a job seeker, and now what do I do? Well, to me, what I tell people to do is I tell people to look at the job and pull out the keywords and put those keywords, if you have them. You don't want to lie in your resume.
Right, keyword search is important. I just talked to a job seeker yesterday, and they were telling me that, hey, you know, I'm not getting any hits from my resume. What's going on? And I looked at the resume, and I noticed they were applying for an administrative assistant position. Well, it was only on the resume once. And HR professionals do keyword search. They'll type in, for example, administrative assistant, and when they pull up the resumes, and if it doesn't show a lot of administrative positions on the resume, less likely they'll pull it up. But if it's on there a lot, of course, you know, you don't want to just type it in, but you put it on there ongoing with different positions that you've applied for.
So really, it's okay to have several versions of your resume, isn't it?
Absolutely. I know we all think we're supposed to have a generic resume, but you're going to have a resume that's complementary to the job that you're applying for. So I know I had 5 when I was searching for a job.
And if you're in the workforce for quite a number of years, is it okay to go over 1 or 2 pages?
2 pages. I have seen journals.
I have
and
too.
Certainly we don't want to go with the journal or
Right.
you know, a thesis. So keep it simple, you know, as they say. Keep it simple. Keep your resume complementary to the job and talk about the job. I always say mirror the job description so that when they look for, you know, 2 years of experience in, you know, office work, certainly you want to show that on your resume.
So I've put my resume into the job, and now nobody's calling me. What can I do? What can I do to get a call?
You know, and it's so interesting. It's just a matter of doing a follow-up. I always say within a week, if you don't hear anything, just do a quick, you know, hey, I applied for the job. You know, do a journal if you just kind of remember when you applied for the job, and let the professional that I applied for the job a week ago really interested. Here are my skill sets, and encloses my resume.
And yes, and resend your resume. Otherwise, it's like, well, who are you?
Yeah.
And what job were you applying for?
Definitely. So follow up within a week, you know, if you don't hear anything, and refresh your resume. You know, when you're online, you know, and it's 30 days old, a lot of times the HR professional thinks that you found a job. So I always say go back in and refresh it, and then that way they'll know that you have, in fact, you are looking for a job.
And you can do that on all the job boards, refresh your resume.
Absolutely. It's the online thing to do, but there are some key things that you want to do to keep your resume fresh on any website.
And how about the resume itself, in terms of the presentation, fonts and...
Shall we talk about it?
Yes.
Oh, we don't have enough time, right?
No, we do.
But, certainly with your resume, you definitely want to find someone to do, your spell check, someone that likes you, of course. But
don't
do
use
your
7-point font.
I have seen it and just tap, delete, oops, but, certainly do the, your resume, keep your font simple,
right.
Roman, Times, nothing creative that you can't read. And, 2 pages. That's the most that you want to do. Keep your education,
right.
Your work experience, don't do the hobbies as in, surfing or
right.
anything. But
right.
some of the
and
things
nothing
that,
religious.
Oh, no. Because you just don't know. So
right.
you want to keep it simple.
Right. So when you submit, I'm a candidate, I'm submitting my resume through the job board, you're basically saying it's okay to call the client or the recruiter or the HR manager?
Well, sometimes you don't have a phone number. With HR recruiting, you're going to get a lot of calls, so they've made it simple for you to keep it online. But I always say when you're online, you can always pull up the information, resubmit your resume with
right.
your cover letter, and in the cover letter, indicate that you have submitted your resume a week ago or when you submitted that
right.
information.
And what I find as a staffing professional is I always take everybody's call. I do. If somebody calls me, I always take the call, and I don't think enough candidates call to follow up.
It's that human and resource, keeping that information fresh.
It is, because we're all overloaded with information these days.
Absolutely.
And for employers, how does a job board help employers? What's the employer side of the process?
Well, I think what's great about it is that it keeps, the process moving. Whether you need to do some screening, there's specific skill sets that they need to have. Sometimes they do the pre-screening information, and then it's more on their own time. So you won't have to have job seekers coming in all day long. They can just kind of go online and do some keyword search, pull up some resume, do some follow-up calls, and schedule their appointments.
Great. And employers don't always follow up with candidates either. How come?
Well, sometimes the resumes, and, I know when I did HR, I averaged about 100 resumes a day. I can't look at all of them. So, I do them when I can.
Huge volume.
Absolutely.
Huge volume. But
absolutely.
You do get to the job eventually, right?
Yeah, and getting that job is important, right?
Oh, it is. It is. So anything that gives somebody a competitive edge in today's world is a big plus.
Online, it's the way to go.
Right. So in essence, tailor your job. Your resume to every job, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Sheila, thank you.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Yes.
Sheila Wiley, thank you.
Thank you.